Yo, what's going on, guys? This video is going to be about how I trade the breakout strategy, all the ins and outs, the entry, the actual strategy, how I choose stocks, how I pick stocks, and everything in between. If you guys are interested in a mentorship and some alerts and how to actually trade these setups more in depth with a community, you guys can go ahead and check out the link in the description. It's a lot of help, and it really helped me become a better trader. Anyway, let's get into the setup. So this is a trade that I recently took, AMD. As you can see, it's obviously leading the 50. It's been over the 50 for like about 4 months now. It's obviously leading, and you see these setups always, like every single stock that's leading, you will see a breakout setup of some sort. Like here, breakout, breaks this, here, breaks, here, breaks, right? So what we're looking for is the leading stocks in the leading sectors that have this type of setup and that breaks out on high volume. As you can see on AMD, it has high volume going into the uptrend, and then as it's consolidating here and just going sideways, the volume decreases over time. And on that breakout day, of course, volume kicks back in and goes up. So how I entered this trade and how I usually enter almost all trades is, let's go back to the breakout day right here. So what I look for is, let's say that this is the trend line, right? A little bit. All right, that's fine. So this is the trend line, right? What I wait for, I put a little alert right above the trend line to know that, okay, this stock is breaking out. So the first thing I look for is, boom, I find the stock that's breaking out from the alert that I set. And the next thing I look at is the volume. If the volume's like low, like the other days before, then I'm obviously not going to trade it. Like, you can obviously see this is high volume. Like, look at the first few candles. Like, this is the, whenever it was consolidating in the range, this is the volume down here. Super low. You can immediately tell that there's obviously some sort of like institutions buying here, and it's ready to break out. So what I do, I set an alert right here, and as soon as it breaks that 5-minute high after the breakout right here, so I'm looking for the stock to break this candle right here. It went up and it broke this. So boom, as soon as that breaks that, I'm putting stop loss right here at the low of day. I'm entering and I'm putting 1% of my account in. So right here, if I entered here, say you have $1,000 account, you're only putting $10 per trade, right? And you're risking $10. So I enter right here, put the stop loss on low of day, always low of day, and always risk 1%. You do not want to blow up your account. And honestly, like, you just let it ride, let it do its thing, right? You don't need to be on the charts all day. Like, if you're on the charts all day and you start seeing this down, you're gonna be like, you might get a little scared, and you might be like, oh, this is not gonna work, I'm getting out. You need to let the trade do what it's gonna do. It's gonna retrace. It's going to retrace. You have to trust the trade. So now let the stock do what it's doing. We hold the trade, holding. From here, we're already up almost 10% with let's see, stop loss is about a 2% stop. So this is already a 5-hour trade. So that $10 that we risk is like at $50 now. We're at $50. It's still going, making highs, higher highs. Yep, it's up like 10% already. And we're going to keep holding this trade until it closes below the 10 SMA. Keyword is close. It has to close under the 10 SMA. Let me show you all another example. AFRM, very, very good trade. I can't really go back to entry. TC really won't let you go that far back, but I can show y'all on the daily chart here. So, boom, it's been leading for a while, right? It's breaking out of multiple bases. As you can see, it makes a tight range, has high volume on the uptrend, low volume when it starts consolidating, and on the breakout, it has high volume. So what you're going to look for is that 5-minute, and this actually gapped above the range, which is fine. It can do that. So what I look for is, I just look for that 5-minute open range high break and put the stop loss on the low of day. So let's say you entered around here. Let's say this is the 5-minute candle, and it went up 88% with a like almost 2% stop. So very, very good trade. And you would trim some of your position around 3 days. So on this third day right here, this is whenever you would trim. And make sure you always trim at the end of the day. You don't want to trim at the beginning of the day because it could always run, right? You can get these days where it'll go down a little bit and say, oh no, you get scared, I want to trim. No, you have to let the trade play out. It's going to do what it wants to do. Institutions are still buying, especially on these breakouts with super high volume, they're still buying. You just got to trust the trade. So you have to wait for a close. I wait for about 5 minutes before market close before I trim or close any of my positions. So anyway, third day, I trim. I trim either, depending on how much my stop is and how much I'm up, I'll trim, either 1/2 of my position or 1/3. It all depends. So that's really up to you. But once you trim, you're going to put your stop to break even. So you're going to put your stop loss to your entry point. So no matter what, you're taking profits, you're going to win on this trade, no matter what. So boom, you keep letting the trade go and go and go. And it just keeps on trailing this 10. And make sure you only get out of the trade fully when it closes underneath the 10. So right here, it closed underneath the 10. And you see, you would have if you would have got out like sooner, you would have like lost more money. You see how it went up a little bit? You still get out here though, no matter what. So you would get out here when it closed underneath the 10 and just keep on letting the 10 SMA trail your stop. And you can keep trimming. If it makes you feel more comfortable, you can trim, but you could be losing more profits in the long run. So you see how this dipped under here? Always wait for the close. It's super important. Another trade that's doing really good and that I'm actually looking at right now, see, making a tight range, lower volume, is SMCI. It actually had a very, very good weekly setup right here. A lot of people took this and a lot of people made really good money on it. So see this? Made it a range, high volume right here. See how it's just consolidating with lower volume. You can see it better on the weekly probably. Yeah, see, just lower volume. And then see on the breakout how the volume increased. This is super important. This shows that institutions are buying. Very, very important for your trade. So as you can see, broke right here. And again, I'm sorry, I can't really get the 5-minute chart, but whenever you guys go into your own trades and back test this and forward test this, you'll see it. So you go here, wait for the 5-minute. Let's say it was around here. Put stop on low a day. This is actually a bigger stop. It was like a 7 to 8% stop. It's pretty big, but it's fine. You always risk 1% no matter what. So as you can see, it went up. It went up at the high 191%. So that's a huge move for your account, like huge. And you would have stayed all the way until here. So at the end, you were probably making around 100%. That is really, really good for your account. And that's why swing trading is super good, because you can just keep on. You see how it just kept going and going, like every week you were making profits every single week. And volume is just staying high. Very, very important. So right now what I'm looking at, and actually we're getting another one of those affirm type setups where it gapped up. So SMCI was setting up, it gapped up post market. So it's up like 15% because I think there was news on it. I think it got cleared for the S&P 500 or something like that. So I would definitely be looking at SMCI for the 5-minute open range high break. And that's what I will be trading. And yeah, I'm going to be looking for that. Now, let's go on to how I find the stocks. The scanning process is honestly so much easier than people really think it is. So what you're going to do is you can go and set this up on your TC2000. I will have the link to my setup for TC so you can do these type of scans too. So what I look for is I go through each and every sector on my scan. This is every single sector that there is. So as you can see right now, tech is obviously leading. Like, it's been leading, probably always will lead. Like, it's leading. But there's a rotation for all the sectors that some will do better than others at some points and whatever. So I go through these. I see everything that looks to be setting up. So like on tech, before AMD broke out, I was looking at this. Like, this was like the most obvious thing ever. Like, everyone could see this, right? And then of course I bought here, and then there's a huge up day. So I knew AMD was leading because AMD broke out before pretty much everything. Like this broke out yesterday, right? AMD pretty much like is leading the market. Right now what I'm looking at is ARM. This is another good setup that I'll be trading. It's on my watch list. It's pretty new. It has been making pretty good uptrends. Made a really good move. Now it's consolidating with lower volume. Very, very good setup. I'll be looking to trade this very soon. As soon as it breaks this area right here. So I like these type of setups on leading stocks leading sectors and with leading stocks. It's the best setups. Yeah. So I like trading higher cap stocks too because they usually have really good options chains, and I don't have a crazy big account yet, but options definitely helps me grow my account faster, and it's something that I like to trade. So whenever I see a leading sector with a leading stock that has a very good options chain, I'm all over that. Another stock that broke out recently was Uber. It's a kind of a slower mover. We'll see what it does throughout this week coming up, but yeah. So go through each sector, check out each one. Like right now, like obviously finance is sort of consolidating. It's not the best setup, but energy, it's kind of been choppy a little bit, but this is in a pretty big resistance area, so consumer defensive could break out here. We could see a move. Basic materials looks like there was a pretty good move. There's some decent setups actually. I might have to look at that actually. I don't know, we'll see. Communication, no, not really. Anything, no, and no, not really. So yeah, you want to look for leading sectors that are actually setting up, because this is all the stocks and they make the sector. So if the sector is setting up, then I'm sure multiple stocks are also setting up, and you just got to find the one that is leading in the sector. That's the best setup, and everything else will follow. So yeah, there's also a few more scanners that I do go through. Back over here we have a 1 month gain scanner. Basically here is the conditions with ADR. I like to trade higher ADR stocks. They move faster, but when I see a good low ADR setup, I'll tend to take it too. Just has to be a leading stock. So there's a 1 month gainer. I go through this. Short term, this is like stuff that's popping up like in the week. These usually take a few more weeks to set up, but it's good to look at this just to see what's moving. So I have a 3 month gain scanner. Here's all the conditions for that. If you're interested. And yep, these are just same thing as 1 month, just for 3 month. Everything that's setting up in the past 3 months. This is a very good scan. I tend to always look at this one. Always find some good setups in there. 6 month, you'll tend to see some longer ranging setups that are setting up, and it's very good to look at these too. So yeah, you'll get those good moves like SMCI with the big base on stuff like this, because 6 months. This was a 5 month base, but it was definitely on the 6 month gainer because it was up like 300%. So yeah, you'll find these. See, it's literally on the list right here. So you'll find those. So yeah, that is how I trade breakouts. Again, if y'all are interested in a mentorship, link in the description. Like and subscribe. I'll be posting more tutorial type videos and the way I trade, and I might do some live trading videos on this channel. Just let me know if y'all need, if y'all want to see anything specific in the comments below. So yeah, mentorship description, and layout for TC2000 also description. So thank you guys. You guys can follow me on Twitter too. It's @ZervTrades on Twitter. So yeah, thank you guys.